else would you want to be on a Saturday other than Speedway, Indiana? Just a 15-20 minute drive from downtown Indianapolis as we are about to test the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge drivers and teams for a 2-hour challenge around the 2.4 mile circuit, 3.9 kilometers if you will, and it's got a little bit of everything. The weather is playing ball, the fans have come out in their numbers, making sure they get the opportunity to mingle with the cars and stars on the pit lane. So 2.44 miles, 14 corners, going the wrong way around the oval at every point that we join it, which is a bit mind-blowing. So we go down the start-finish straight, back towards turn 4. That's our turn 1 right-hander into the first twiddly bit on the infield. Hullman Boulevard is the infield straight. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 come pretty quickly, and then you're back onto the front straight again. Let's head down to Shea, Adam. The cars are rolling. Shea is our BDO pit reporter. First of all, have we got everybody out in the pit lane? And secondly, Shea, how's the championship with just this and one more of the events to go in 2024?
I am all alone right now on the pit lane. No race cars are here. Well, not alone. There's a lot of people, human-based life forms, but no mechanical ones. The championship is thus in TCR. It is the 17 leading the way as they have been all year. Unitronic JDC Miller Motorsport with their Audi. They won 4 out of the first 5 races, commanding fashion, but a bit of bad luck as we heard from Mikey Taylor in the countdown to green. They have been, well, feeling less comfortable in the recent races, looking to try and set things right at this place where they got a win last year in the 4-hour contest. At the head of the field, well, it's been Team TGM leading the way for the majority of the year with Matt Plum co-driverless. He started the year with Owen Trinkler. It has been Paul Holton ever since the second round of the championship, meaning that Paul sits 300 points behind his teammate. But in the recent months, the recent races, RS won with their Porsche. Trent Hinman and Stephen Mackley are 2 guys who know how to win championships in every facet of IMSA racing. They have been on a chargeback, couple of wins, and podium finishes have vaulted them up to within 50 points of Matt Plum, meaning that it's still wide open. Sitting in third is Rory Vanderster, who this weekend is co-driving with Alex Prema, so we can't take our eyes off that 19 Vanderster Racing Aston Martin either. And then in fourth is Paul Holden, the teammate of Matt Plum. So whatever Matt does, Paul does too. He won't win the championship with his teammate Will Paul Holton, but he definitely has contributed to their fantastic 2024 season.
Shea, Adam, then our BDO pit reporter, Jeremy Shaw, alongside me in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre. Half a lap to go before we go green. Jeremy, you and I love these races. We used to say it was the best kept secret in American motorsport. I don't think we can say that now. What are we expecting in the next couple of hours?
We're expecting a very exciting motor race. It's super competitive at the front. I'm not so sure we're going to see quite a few cars that are not at the front right now, toward the front later on in the race. So the question is, will it go green all the way? Will there be cautions? How will the strategy play out? And there's a lot of strategy to be played out. I was super impressed in qualifying by Nate Cicero, who will start third on the grid in that McCumbee McAleer Ford Mustang. He's a youngster. He's only 19 years of age, but he's got a fair amount of experience. He's been driving MX-5 Cup the last couple of years, had a lot of success there from a winner of the MX-5 shootout, and also, of course, this year has been driving in the Mustang Challenge as well, has he not? So lots of experience, taking advantage of that. What a great debut for him here in Indianapolis to start third in that sort of grey and blue Mustang.
On the front row, Trent Hinman in the red, white and black Porsche. On driver's right has Paul Holton in the Team TGM Aston Martin Vantage, number 46 for company. Then it's Nate Cicero in the Ford Mustang, as Jeremy's mentioned. Motorsport in action, the Mia McLaren Artura, as the green is up in the air. Everybody's got to stay to the start line. TCR's coming through. Dai Yoshihara has, well, that's a huge jump start, is it not? As they go through, let's see how race control look at that. That was messy, to say the least. from the TCRs. We employ a split starting strategy here to ensure that the TCRs don't catch up with the back of the GS field. GS GT4 TCR is global TCR formula. That was not the most neat and tidy start, and already a problem for Daniel Wu for Racers Edge Motorsport in his Honda Civic FK7 TCR. The number 73 yellow and black car is stalled out at the exit of turn 1 heading into turn 2. That is on the asphalt with a minute of racing to go. That cannot stay there, and we should see, unless that car fires up, we are waiting for the Corvette safety car to pull out and neutralise the field, give race control their due. They are giving this as long as they can, Jeremy, but I fear that there is nothing other than a full course yellow coming, and indeed that is what has happened. That's a shame, because we had a pretty clean start, Jeremy Shaw.
Yeah, indeed, it was most unfortunate, and yeah, these cars do have onboard starters, so not quite sure why Daniel wasn't able to get that car running again. He said it's a bit of a struggle for him this weekend. That Racers Edge Motorsport entry hasn't done all of the races this season, but unfortunately they're a problem for Daniel. This is the car's 4th start of the year, but it's ground to a halt there, and he doesn't seem able to fire it up again, so we'll have to drag that car away. Yeah, so it's a disappointing start, because as you say, nice and clean at the front, and now of course when we do get ready for the restart, the TCRs will be right with the GS field. There won't be a split restart, and as we've seen in qualifying, quite a few of the TCRs are quicker than several of the back end of the field GS machinery.
And it doesn't help, Jeremy, that the start of the lap after turn 1 is quite tight and twisty, which actually is where the front wheel drive TCR cars are at their best. When we used to race at Lime Rock Park, for example, it would often be the TCR cars that had the best overall lap time, or at least lap sector, in the first and second sectors. They are very good around the twisty bits, so this is going to be very interesting and a very different challenge for Dai Yoshihara. Eduardo Gore in the Audi in second place in TCR from Gavin Ernstone, who made up a few positions for Road Shagger Racing. Welcome back to that team. John, we hope you get better. That's Gavin's normal driving partner. He's done himself a mischief, not driving, just bending over or doing something, and pulled a muscle, and it's not conducive. He's picking up one of his children, is the news that's coming through. So John, we wish you all the best, and hopefully you'll be back for the season closer at Petit Le Mans. Chris Miller dropped a couple of spots in the 17 Unitronic Cup. He is on the pit wall, is he? He's
on the pit wall, yeah, but light duties for John. He was, yes, it was just one of those freaky sort of things. I mean, it's funny, I was talking to him earlier this week, and he was telling me that he'd struggled a little bit with fitness early on. He takes his fitness fairly seriously, but the first race of the season at Daytona was a bit of a struggle for him. So he's been taking that seriously this year, which makes it even more surprising / disappointing that he should encounter that problem just a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, he'll be sitting out this one, but plans to be back for Petit Le Mans.
That's John Morley we're talking about. These things happen in very strange ways. I remember a few years ago Nick Damon dislocating his shoulder whilst he was sitting in the back of a car when we were going to the Nürburgring or somewhere, as he bent down to pick up a sweet that he wanted to eat and popped his shoulder out. It's remarkable. John, we wish you all the best, and let's hope we see you back in your natural environment for PLM. Muscle strains are awful things, though. So, some changes in TCR. From the field, Trent Hinman leads them around in his Porsche. Fairly straightforward snatch and tow for that number 73, and that's Daniel Wu, Racers Edge Motorsport Honda Civic has been pulled away. We're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The lights are out on the Corvette pace car as it is now. Safety car, if you will. Rather, as it is now. It's the pace car before the green flag. So we'll come back to the green. This will be a single file restart. And as soon as the green goes out, everybody is fair game. So get some warmth in the Michelin tyres and in your brakes. Get ready for that charge down. Trent Hinman in control of the field as the Corvette TireRack.com battle on the bricks safety car pulls away. It's now down to Trent and that flat 6 motor in the RS1 behind him. The front engine V8 of Nate Cicero, another front engine V8, the Aston Martin of Paul Holton. So rear engine, flat 6, 2 front engine V8s, then a mid-engine, another mid-engine car, a mid-engine car from McLaren, BMW, then Aston Martin, we're green, and Trent Hinman has taken off. He hasn't broken the toe from Nate Cicero in that grey and blue McCumbee McAleer Racing Mustang. Top 4 have pulled away from the McLaren Artura of Martin Casada. Behind, it's 1, 2, 3.5 across the class as the Van der Steur racing car and the Carbon BMW are having a scrap. The Carbon car, the grey, green and black machine, just getting shuffled down a wee bit behind Sebastian Carrazzo in the number 67. That is the Porsche 718. But he says, waiting for the TCRs to appear onto the back straight. Looks like the TCRs gave themselves a wee bit of a gap there. Dai Yoshihara has restarted in the lead in the Honda Civic from Montreal Motorsport Group. Go Racing, Road Shagger, Brian Herder Motorsport, Preston Brown in the best of the Hyundai Elantras. We have had 7 minutes. We are now green flag again, and we are racing for 2 hours. Jeremy Shaw.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. And Trent Hinman there. Nate Cicero behind, of course. A bit of a dilemma here for Nate Cicero, perhaps, but conceivably. He drives for McCumbee McAleer Racing, and he's fighting for the lead, Trent Hinman, who's in Wheeler Cullum 28 at the moment, but the co-driver of that car is Stephen McAleer, as in McCumbee McAleer Racing, for whom Nate also drives, of course, in the MX-5 Cup Series. So how hard is he going to push that number 28 car, one wonders?
He's
fairly
can
hard.
only drive. Yes, I was going to say, you drive what you're behind the steering wheel of. Obviously, I think he'd be thinking of his day job as well. We've got some debris on the front straight, which is just off the racing line. It looks like a door mirror and a piece of trim that is there. We also had a Ted Giovannis off the track. Yeah, definitely a door mirror and a piece of trim. It was from the TCR Hyundai. It is the TCR Hyundai and Road Shagger involved as well. Those cars have come together. Gavin Ernstone and the second car involved there, the number 76, the Go Racing car, and into the pit lane for Chris Miller in the number 17, full course yellow. We are back 17. Out again. Chris Miller, that was a drive-through for a jump start. Drive-through penalty for Chris Miller for his jump start. I think he got that done before the full course yellow came out. Yes, he did. He actually was out before the full course yellow came out. He only had to get in, so he will not lose too much time. Let's go down to Shea Adam, who can give us some news about the debris on the front straight and indeed what has happened to the number 55 Go Racing car that was in second place.
Well, the car did take the lead of the TCR class fairly early on, but then some very stout side-to-side contact with Ted Giovannis in the number 64 Aston Martin resulting in the Aston being ushered off the track. The 55 came in. They put new left side tires on it, but to me, the left rear camber is completely off, and I have no idea how the car is planning to go back out onto the racetrack, because that will be pulling in exactly the wrong direction. He is still going down the pit lane in the fast lane and has missed the entrance to get back to the garage, so it looks like the 55 Audi will be resuming on the track. Meanwhile, we have not yet seen Roadshagger Racing, so I'm going to wander up to their pit box and find out if they can even get it back.
That was just a misjudgment by Gavin going into turn one, made heavy contact as he was coming up the inside, missed his braking point. Preston Brown, which was the leading Brian Herter Autosport Hyundai, was just there. That is third in the championship for that number 76 car, and Preston will be less than impressed, I think, with Gavin, but that was be under review, but just a mistake, perhaps. Cold tyres and cold brakes, possibly even a bit of a cold mind there on the restart, but Gavin arriving way too quickly at the first corner. It is a pinch point, and this is still, despite it being a 2-hour race, Jeremy, this is still a long race, and just an error of judgment there by Gavin.
Yeah, looked that way, didn't it? And big disappointment, as you say, for Preston Brown. They've done a super job here at Energy Pond this season. They were second in the points for most of the championship, only fell back last time out. They had some difficulties in the race at VIR, had a 9th place finish there, so lost a lot of ground and fell back to 3rd behind Harry Gottsacker and Robbie Wickens in the number 33 Brian Herter Hyundai car. So yeah, really disappointing. Of course, it's been a messy start to this race. Kind of wasn't expecting this, and yeah, unfortunately we're under yellow again then. So I'll tell you what, an early charge from those. The good news for Brian Herter Autosport, having started at the back of the field, their car, the 98, 33 and 77, and now in 2nd, 3rd and 4th behind Morgan Burkhardt. And that was the other car that started right at the back as well. So a remarkable turnaround of fortunes for those guys.
Yeah, Dai Yoshihara also down at the back. So the debris on the front straight was part of a door and a door mirror from the right-hand side of one of the cars out there. Stephen Cameron Racing, we believe, that's BMW, and excuse me, Ford Mustang for that, and that was the 43. Yes, it's the orange. I could see the inside of the door, that's why. Now it's in the back of one of our Chevrolet assistance trucks. They've handily put that in with the number pointing out. So it was the door skin, I think, of that car. That'll be on eBay on Monday, or it'll be in somebody's man cave, or it'll be back with the team. It'll be back with the team, I jest. Thank you very much to all of our hard-working corner workers and track services. At the back of the TCR field, the only good news for the Unitronic JDC Miller team, Jeremy Shaw, who are championship leaders, is that they've had their drive-through after the jump start from the original start, but they're still at least on the back of the TCR field because they got in and out before the second yellow flag. That could have been absolutely terrible for them. It's not good now, but it's not disastrous.
It certainly isn't. No, a long way to go, as you say, this race. So plenty of opportunities to recover from there, particularly, of course, with 3 of the other cars out of the race in TCR. So yeah, that's the number 73 car. Unfortunately, hasn't rejoined, has it? After hitting problems on the very first lap of the race, bringing out the first full course caution. And now the number 76 and 61 both been towed away from that accident scene at turn 1. So you know, that all plays into the hands of number 17 as well. But very unlike Chris Miller to be caught out at the start there. He's been you know, hugely experienced in this class, and also starting up in the front as well. So curious that he should have that penalty. So during this caution period now, a bunch of cars decided to come along to the pit lane. That is the Baby Bull Racing Porsche receiving service. Change of tyres there for Moisey Uretsky. Not yet reached the point where minimum drive time has been served. That's 40 minutes in this race, only 15 minutes elapsed, but a good opportunity here just to top off with fuel, and then from here these GS cars should be able to get to the end of the race with just one more pit stop from here.
Let's head down to Shea Adam in the pit lane. Let's go down to Shea in the pit lane, who can update us on those pit stops and some news about the early problems for Daniel Wu and RaceTech Motorsport.
Splash of fuel only for both of the Turner BMWs in Don Salama, we trust. Let's not forget. Splash of fuel also for the Rebel Rock Aston Martin that was victorious at Sebring earlier this year. Frank Depew starting the car. And it was fuel and tires for Baby Bull with a splash of fuel for the 82 Ruckus Racing with Vanderster. That Aston Martin as well. Nobody else came down the pit lane to visit me that time around. But I did wander down to RacerTech Motorsport to ask about their Honda as of what was happening to their car when it stopped out on the track. They said basically it wasn't responding. Everything they asked it to do, it would not do, and it just died going into turn one. So that car is back in the garage now, getting some substantial work done. And the piece of debris I saw was from the right side of the number 43, the Sean Quinlan Racing, Sean Quinlan behind the wheel, starting the Stephen Cameron Racing Ford Mustang. Part of the door remained on the racetrack, part of the door remained on the car. So that should not be a technical infraction because there is not a gaping hole into where the driver could be, even though it's on the other side of the car, if you see my logic there, John.
Yeah, that BDO pit lane report was Shea Adam. I thought it was just the outer skin. It's not actually. It is the hole of the door. You can see the B pillar and where the door should be. There is a protective part of the a lateral bar on that side. It's not on the driver's side. Still got some cars coming in, including the Alfa Giulietta, Dr. Will Talley in the pit lane, and also it's another one of the Hondas, the MMG Honda that's in there as well, the number 93 car, Dai Yoshihara for Montreal Motorsport Group. Not sure what happened to him at the start either. 2 quick pit stops, but it's not good news for Dai Yoshihara and what was the pole sitting car. Shea Adam, more work being done there.
The hood's just gone up on that car, John. They did full refueling, no tires to any of the cars. It was refueling for the Alfa Romeo and our championship leader, the number 17 Unitronic JDC Audi as well. But they finished the service and immediately put the car up on the air jacks. No urgency. That's the worst news I can give Honda fans around the world.
If that's a turbo pipe. We've had that issue before. Those drivers that stopped, and I'll come back to that thought at the moment. Jeremy was saying he thought that was unusual for Chris to get caught at the start, Chris Miller to get caught. It was a terribly untidy start in TCR. I said that at the time. That fabulous Liquid Moly, new Liquid Moly livery car was caught out, I think, by that. But all the guys who've stopped for fuel in TCR, Jeremy, right now should have absolutely no, I mean, they had no fuel issues before then, but what they've got now is the opportunity for those who have stopped to go deeper into the race. It opens up the tactical opportunity for them.
Yeah, very much so, particularly for number 17, Carly was at the back there. In any case, they've now got a much wider window to give them an opportunity to come in and make what they hope would be just one more stop to get to the end. Plus they'll need less fuel than those that are just doing the one stop during the entire race. So yeah, and of course I'd forgotten what happened then, number 17, Carly. We saw the pulse of Dai Yoshihara just didn't go when Chris Miller thought he was going to go. The race control have obviously reviewed that there is a position on the racetrack from where you're supposed to go, whether there was sort of kind of back and forth there from the pole sitter, we don't know. I'm sure that race control would have reviewed that, and they decided that the number 17 car just went before he should have done from the outside of the front row. But that's kind of a strange one.
I said that at the time, Jeremy, that it was a jump start from the outside row. Of course, what we didn't know is that Dye had no power in the MMG Honda, and that car's been worked on now. So what are you supposed to do? That's the problem. Now, as it is, the Unitronic JDC car has joined back onto the back, so it's not a complete nightmare. I did see some cars slowing down further back so as not to pass the car up alongside them. Quick thought as we're going to come back to green. GS cars who have taken a stop include Baby Bull Racing, the number 44 Porsche, Frank Depew in the Rebel Lot Racing Aston Martin. He only dropped a couple of positions there, but that gives them a bigger fuel window further in the race. Van der Steur Racing's Aston Martin, the number 82. Turner Motorsport, both of their cars, the 96 and the 95. They're the only GS cars that have made a stop, and that again, that might give them the opportunity to go on just one more stop, particularly if there's some more yellow. All right, let's reset. We'll go back down to Shea in the BD and the BDO pit report in a moment, but let's get the restart done as work continues on the number 93 Honda for Montreal Motorsport. It is once again Trent Hinman who puts his foot on the right-hand pedal and accelerates through onto the front straight, and with an hour and 38.5 minutes to go, we are back to green after 2 interventions from our Corvette safety car. Brilliant jump from Trent Hinman for RS1. Behind him, Nate Cicero, Paul Holton having a go. Holton goes to the right, goes to the left, goes back to the right, down the inside, into turn 1. Super manoeuvre by the experienced Paul Holton, back with TGM this season, and has taken second place. Nate Cicero made one defensive move, but then of course could not move again. It couldn't move in reaction to what was going on. Paul Holton went both sides of the track and then dodged back to the pit wall, got the inside run into turn 1. Michael McCarthy in the black and gold 91 Kelly Moss with Riley. Welcome back to that team with this Porsche, running in the 50th anniversary Mobile 1 colours, the gold and black. And then it's Michael D. Casada for Motorsport in action. In TCR, Morgan Burghardt, Victor Gonzalez, Hyundai Elantra leads. Mark Wilkins, so the red-white car from the Hyundai N coloured cars, the 3 of them are 98, 33 and 77. Mark Wilkins, Harry Gottsager, Taylor Hagler. And then a little gap back to the black and red of the Hart Honda, confusing me by running in slightly different colours. And then Pegram Racing with Riley Pegram behind the wheel, William Talley Kidd, MW Alpha. Not all of the, in fact, the first car that has stopped is the Alpha in 7th position. So they've got a slight advantage. Oh, and news from the pit lane. Let's go to our BDO pit reporter, Shea Adam.
The number 93 MMG Honda is heading back out. It was a hose clamp that broke that actually came loose, so they used a whole lot of zip ties to try and hold the hose that connects the turbo back together. Let's see if it sticks.
About 1,000 at the moment. We've had turbo hose problems for that as well. So the hard car in 5th position, Jeremy, I've just noticed they've had an upgrade in machinery as well for Tyler Chambers and the rest of the crew.
Yeah, indeed so. It seems to be an FL5 chassis car, so a new car for that team. They've been running the old FK7 for many years, and I must admit I missed that on the entry list, but when you mentioned the colours, I looked up on the entry list, it did indeed say FL5, so a new car for that team, and a really good run yesterday, or excuse me, early this morning for Tyler Chambers in qualifying. Unfortunately, the bad news was the car was under the minimum ride height, so he had to start from the back, but he's had a good early run and up into 5th position in car number 89.
The right-hand door on the 43 Mustang from Stephen Cameron Racing has been given a mechanical black flag. That's the black flag with the orange disc in the middle of it. That is something that has to be seen to straight away. You can't just cruise around like that. Also, unsurprisingly from me, but it might be a surprise to you, the World Chagger Racing Audi number 61, Gavin Ernstone's been given a drive-through for incident responsibility with that accident at the first corner as we went back to green after the initial yellow period. Now you might think, why have you done that when that car is broken? And the point about it is race control telling that driver, that team, and indeed everybody else up and down the pit lane, look, we know that wasn't a deliberate act, but you have to have a little more care than that. It's called avoidable contact or incident responsibility, and this has come up as incident responsibility, which absolutely it was. You can't argue with that. So Gavin, should that car come back, Gavin, or his co-driver actually, will have to serve a drive-through penalty. Battles down the field then. Second position, Michael McCarthy, as Nate Cicero's cleared off to the tune of 2 seconds, and a 3-car battle pack for second, third and fourth on the front straight. Head across the yard of bricks, and Kelly Moss with Riley Porsche, Cayman GT4, just dips as he brakes hard. Then the light blue and black front of Michael D. Casada in the Mia McLaren Motorsport in action. McLaren Van der Steur Racing and Rory Van der Steur. Confirmed as back with us next season. A number of teams making their plans for next year. We'll have more announcements from IMSA-sanctioned Petit Le Mans, and Dai Yoshihara has just set the fastest lap of TCR, but of course he is 3 laps off the lead. Right, Jeremy, have we settled down enough to start to take a look at what's going on and try and assess where the advantages are?
Let's hope so. First, finally we've got 3 laps of green in succession under our belts, and the race leader Trent Henry set the fastest lap of the race, but last time around was about more than half a second slower than his previous best, so hasn't pulled that much of an advantage over Paul Holton in second position. Nate Cicero hanging on there in third, and then that battle you were talking about now comes to a bit off the road there. It was at turn 8, 9, number 91 car off the road, so he's going to lose that 4th position, and it'll be the McLaren and or the Aston Martin that go across side by side, now up into 4th and 5th position.
Down turn 1, and the Aston stays wide, the McLaren goes through. So, nice manoeuvre there. RS1 then, leading it at the front of the field. In TCR, Morgan Burkhardt, Mark Wilkins, Harry Gott-Taggart, Ted Giovannis coming back through the field, having made a pit stop. And that is not what these guys want to see at the front of the field, because that GT4 car is quick on the straight, not so quick round the corner. Taylor Hagler has been passed by that TGM Aston and has been split away from that leading car.
No, actually, I don't think so, John. I think the number 64 car is kind of slipping back now through the TCRs. I don't think it's been in the pit lane just yet. So Taylor Hagler, though, she's got past Ted Giovannis now, and those top 3, as you say, though, have distanced themselves from the rest in TCR. Morgan Burkhardt still leads. Mark Wilkins and Harry Gott-Taggart right with him there. There's a Honda 3-car train heading through the S's and now back onto the banking. Yeah,
excuse me, Jeremy, you're absolutely right. That car, the number 64 Aston, did not come out of the pit lane. We've had the number 55 car, the Go Racing Machine, back from behind the wall. I think that car might have gone straight out of the pit lane. Shay Adams, did it stop in its pit box or not?
It did not, but it was not required to. Into its pit box was another orange car, though. That is the number 43 Stephen Cameron Racing. Ooh, the number 82 Ruckus Racing with Van der Steur. That Aston Martin does not sound entirely healthy. It sounds like maybe something is flapping along the floor. It was the new door for the 43 Stephen Cameron Racing Ford Mustang, and apparently it has a new number on the side as well. It's now wearing a very different number, 19. So let's see how the race officials view that, because you're not allowed to run two numbers in the same race.
Yeah, they're just putting the racer tape on the front of that. I suspect what they will have to do is tape over that number and make sure that it is not confusing. It's on the inside of most of the corners on a clockwise circuit. The rumble of the flat plane V8 as it disappears down the pit lane on the pit lane speed limit, but time lost by that number 43 for Stephen Cameron Racing. You might ask, how do you lose a door? Well, they have indeed tipped over the front part of the door, the back part of the door, and the number. So it doesn't actually say 19, it just doesn't say anything. You might wonder how you lose a door. Seems rather careless, doesn't it? Particularly with just a bit of side-to-side contact, which I believe that was. The doors on all of these cars are meant to lift off their hinges relatively easily. I suspect they either got caught at the wrong angle or bounced over something. And it might have been that the door had popped open. Now, here are some penalties coming through. The number 69, this is Michael De Quesada. Now, this is going to be a drive-through for the 4th place motorsport in action at McLaren. That was incident responsibility for contact with the Kelly Moss Smith Riley Porsche. Oh, and now the Stephen Cameron car has come together with one of the Porsches. That is the Sebastian Carrazzo machine, the 67. That was on the outlap. So this has all of a sudden got a little bit, that was at turn 7 by the way, it's got just a little bit untidy. So just to reiterate, the Mia McLaren will have to come in from 4th position for a drive-through penalty. I have to admit, I didn't quite see that incident.
No,
with the
we didn't
black
see,
and gold car.
I don't think we did see it, John, but maybe we can have a look at it here. No, we're not. This is something else we're looking at right now. Okay, that's
the latest incident between the Stephen Cameron car and the J-Box Simpson car.
It is. The other incident was at the next corner there, that next S is there in 8-9. We saw the remnants of it, if you see what I mean. We saw the number 91 car coming slowly out of there. That was when that car lost the 4th position, but we didn't see what the root cause of it.
Shay Adam can answer this question. Our BDO pit lane reporter comes from Right Turn Lover, right in the centre of Europe, at IMSA Radio. On a restart, Shay Adam, for 200 points, I'll take IMSA rules for 200 points. Are you allowed to overtake before the control line, the start-finish line, on a restart?
Yes.
Is the right answer. 200 points. Well done. Thank you, RTL, for asking that question. Hello to Alan Prosser. Hope your new employ is going well. Good to know that you're still tuned in on this Saturday night. Well, just coming up to 20 minutes before 7 in the UK. Hello to you all, wherever you are around the world, as Michael De Quesada comes in to the pit lane. This is the drive-through penalty for the contacts. Down the pit lane now. And that must seem a very long way to drive, Jeremy.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Certainly that's going to set them back. That car's been fast this season, that MIA McLaren, but just one thing or another seems to have got in the way of a kind of a string of good results. They did win once. That was at WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, but 4 pole positions, and the only other top, even top finish was a 6th in the opening round at Daytona. So certainly you deserve a lot more than that, but not going to be struggling to get a good result today with that drive-through penalty.
No further action for the Stephen Cameron racing car and the 67 Porsche racing incident. Now let's get into some action in TCR. Megan Burkhardt still leads in the red and white number 49. Red and white number 99, rather, as another in and out for the 43 Mustang. That came back down pit road, I think, to have the door looked at again. They have taped 43 onto the side of the paintwork. Excellent. Very good, clever working there. Hello, Joe Zapp. He said, are you allowed to tape a door shut? I know it's not the driver's door, but it doesn't sound like something you should be allowed to do for safety. I think they're worried that it's going to pop off again. Suggests that perhaps it's a door hinge problem. I suspect the driver could still kick that open if they needed to, but yes, I understand what you're saying. So once again, Jeremy, GS cars being caught by the front of the TCR field, and Megan Burkhardt now up to 16th position overall.
Yeah, he's really doing a nice job once again for Victor Gonzalez Racing, the youngster from West Virginia. He's been one of the standouts this season, no doubt about it, in TCR. Came into the season pretty much unheralded, but he's been fast every time out. He's from Charlestown in West Virginia, just 18 years of age is Morgan, but when it was his 19th birthday till December. And after karting, not really done much car racing, but he has been a bit of an ace in sim racing, and another guy who's used that sim racing experience to excellent effect once he gets the opportunity to drive a racing car.
Jeremy Shaw and John Hindhaugh from the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre. Our BDO pit reporter is Shea Adam, and we'll be looking for a Michelin moment of the race for each class. I didn't see, Shea Adam might be able to shed some light on this. When the Mia McLaren came down the pit lane, did it stop at its pitch here, or did it just drive through?
No, it was a drive-through penalty. It just served the drive-through.
Okay, fine. Hello to Big Squish. Nice to know that you're on site at Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the Crown Vic. What a lovely way to travel. Says the captain's chairs were better than in the tent. Yeah, very good. Very comfortable place to be. 103.9 around the circuit. IMSA Radio is RS2 on IMSARadio.com. 118 Fahrenheit on the track, 90 in the air, translates to 48 Celsius on the track, 32 in the air. Though there are plenty of you who like to keep a hold of that and just work out how the track is evolving and how the weather and the sunshine goes on. Sun pretty much at its height at the moment, barely any shadows underneath the cars, and it's been a beautiful day so far. There was a little bit of early morning. It wasn't even mist really, but as soon as the sun came up, that burned it off after a night of torrential rain overnight. And it's been perfect today. Right, let's pick up some action now. 6th position, Michael McCarthy in the Kelly Moss with Riley Porsche. It's the black and gold car. In behind it, the green number 88 of Todd Coleman. That's the Archangel Motorsport Aston Martin Vantage. With an hour and 20 to go, we are coming up on driver time, Jeremy, aren't we? For anyone who hasn't been through the pit lane, it's a 40 minutes minimum drive time.
That's right, and that'll be reached the next time around for these leaders. So we'll expect quite a few cars to come in, certainly in GS. Probably not so much in TCR, but certainly in GS we'll see those cars out, kind of outside the top 15 coming in to hand over to their co-drivers. Has a problem there for number 88 car. He'd been running really, really well. Todd Coleman moved himself up to 7th position.
And he's stopping the car.
Oh, no.
And he's pulled off to driver's right on the far side of the circuit. Looks like he's got... he's recycling the car. Now, all 4 tyres, Michelin tyres, have air in them. It's at turn 11, so just coming back onto the banking, and he's got it restarted for the moment. She's coming through to turn 12, the right-hander. So Control Alt Delete. That was the car I was mentioning that was battling for 6th and 7th. Does he peel off into the pit lane, or is he going to risk his luck? No, he's coming into the pit lane.
Yeah, and he's over 40 minutes now, so it could be a stroke of luck. He will hand over that car to Aaron Tielens.
Yeah, good point. That might not be the disaster it could have been. Good point, Jeremy Shaw. That car, well, Jeremy, has he been... no, that is his first time down the pit lane, yeah. Unless the car is broken. Francis Seldorf, coming together at turn 1, and that is the leader in... Oh, my goodness me. The number 99, and the leader in TCR, Morgan Burkhardt, has come together with Frank Depew for Rebel Rock Racing as they were going down to the first corner. Now they're both moving, so we'll stay green. I was just about to say Francis Seldorf in the Turner Motorsport BMW is the best placed of the cars that have already stopped. Frank Depew coming down the inside. Oh, he was nowhere near, and he tried to go up the inside and avoid it. Really should have turned a bit harder right and just took the penalty for missing the first corner. He's taken out the leader, and he's taken himself out as well in that number 71 car. They had taken a stop in that 71 Aston Martin for Rebel Rock, and they were hoping to benefit from that, but really he's completely out of control, coming down the inside and clipped the curb really hard. And per Morgan Burkhardt, Jeremy Shaw would have known nothing about that until the bang.
No, that's really unfortunate. I mean, whether Frank Depew had some sort of a problem there, hard to say, but the brakes seemed to be locked up, didn't they? So it seemed to be slowing down okay, just too late. And that's really unfortunate for Morgan Burkhardt. But I tell you what, Victor Gonzalez Racing Team, they have no luck at all, do they? For goodness sake, it's taken off the rear wing on that car as well, by the looks of it. And there's some damage there, since the car's smoking as he comes onto the start-finish straight. So it'd been a super run once again for Morgan. And we started at the back of the pack, well, almost at the back of the pack with the other Brian Herder Hyundai cars as well. Worked his way pretty quickly into the lead, and was, he pulled away a little bit from the rest of the pack there in TCR. But now he's got, he's able to get going again, still on the lap, and with a bit of luck, perhaps there will be cautions now. He will come into the pits and perhaps can get that car repaired.
Right. So Todd Coleman got into the pits just before that. We reported that, but unfortunately that car is still there. That car is still there.
Oh.
That's not good news for that car. It has not come back out of the pit lane after that stop and restart. Ted Giovannis timed it absolutely perfectly and got in before the full course yellow came out by about half a minute, if that. So they are in and out with their pit stop done. We have got Frank Depew out of the Rebel Rock Racing Aston and into the back of the Rapid Response as well, Rapid Response vehicle as well. Just looking to see who else came into the pit lane. She's
59 car came in. Yeah, that's the core.
No, that was
core
after.
Motorsports.
That was after.
Oh, was it?
That was after the pit lane. 59 Bob McCallion entered a closed pit. So that, if he just did emergency service, he'll be fine. Also, the number 43 entered a closed pit. That shows Quinlan. All right, so they did get out and come back around again. They may have come straight back around. We'll see if they get a penalty as well. So penalties potentially coming, and with 45 minutes elapsed, even those GS cars that came into the pit lane, Jeremy, early on have done enough drive time now to be able to do their stop if they want to. Francis Seldorf, by the way, had made his way up to 7th position after making that early stop for Turner Motorsport. He'd have much preferred this to go a little bit longer for green. Do the GS cars come in? I suppose they have to with 45 minutes on the clock, don't they?
Yeah, he will come in and hand over the car to Robbie Foley, and it's kind of good news and bad news. I mean, the good news for him is that all the other leaders, assuming they come in now, will need to make another stop before the end of the race. But this is certainly going to put Robbie Foley in a very strong position for the closing stages.
Yeah, they'll need less fuel, so they should be stationary fewer seconds. So I think sticking up on the right-hand side of one of the TGM cars as well. So.
But like, honestly, we run negative wing here anyway. So my question is, if I do the change, can I keep going?
Yeah.
If my driver says
this is VGRT talking to the IMSA technical official, saying, do we need to put the rear wing back on VGRT Hyundai? Because they run, you might have just heard it in the background there, they run negative wing here. So they're running a flat wing. It's not actually doing anything. As the GS cars come in, and Moise Uretsky for Baby Bull Racing has stayed. No, he hasn't. It just was late.
Yes, he did.
No, he has. Baby Bull Racing have stayed out. Van der Steur Racing have stayed out with the 82 cars. So those two were the two of the cars that came in earlier on. Shea Adam is watching the pit stop. Keep an eye on the Turner cars, Shea. They were both in earlier. They'll need less fuel.
Yep, we've got fuel, tires, and driver changes going on for each of the following cars. 28 RS1 is taking over Stephen McClure. 39 Carbon with Peregrine Racing is now Jeff Westphal. The 4016 PGM Paul Holden out. It is Matt Plum in. Number 13, we talked to Jensen Altman on the grid for McCumbee McClure Racing, and that Ford Mustang now has Jensen aboard. Nate Cicero has done his first stint. First car already down and rolling away is the number 96 Turner Motorsport BMW, and the number 95 coming out right behind it. So we've got Robbie Foley and Rob McGuinness aboard those two cars now, waiting to see when RS1 gets rolling. Now remember, Turner has not done tires to this point. They are on their qualifying rubber, whereas there will be new rubber for TGM, RS1, Carbon, and MMR. Riley is back out and rolling again, and now it is Riley Dickinson aboard the Porsche for that team, and very, very busy at the pit exit, but it is Turner 1-2 leaving the lane. Again, old rubber. Let's see how long they can hold on to it. There was a problem in the pit stop for RS1 with the right rear tire change. Stephen McClure is leaving well outside of the top 10. Oh, disaster for our contenders in this championship.
Yeah, the car came down and they didn't have all of the 5 lug nuts fastened up, and they had to put the car back up again. I reckon TGM came out third behind the two Turner Motorsport BMWs of the cars that stopped, that is. And we still have Moise Uretsky for Baby Bull and Van der Steur's Aston Martin number 82 on the track. Remember, they took service earlier on, and we've not had a lot of green flag running in this first almost 50 minutes of the race. Here's the TCR cars coming in, and remember, there were some TCR runners as well who stopped early on, taking advantage. It is all of the Hyundais from Brian Hertner Motorsport and the Hart Honda. Shea Adam is watching the front-wheel drive cars.
First car that hits its marks is the Alfa Romeo. Fuel, tires, and a driver change. Dr. Will Tally out, and it's Tim Lewis Jr. in. Now, all 4 of the BHA Hyundais were pitted together. There's 3 of them remaining in the race, and they hit their marks. Let's see. First car to go, we have a driver change for the number 98. So Mark Wilkins and Mark Walton to Mesa Filippi. Harry Gottsacker has gotten out of the 33 Brian Hurt Autosport Hyundai. That is now Rob Wickens taking over. And for the 77, it is Bryson Morris taking over for Taylor Hagler. All three of those cars getting front tires only. The number 99 is in. It's the car that is rumbling gently in the background. Crew members just threw their hands up in the air, actually, from the wall when staring at the damage from their car. They can't quite believe the amount of damage to this car, but it is not needing the rear wing replaced. 17, the Unitronic JDC Miller Motorsport Audi already down and rolling, gets out second on the grid as there is very near contact between the 77 and 33. That's part of the problem when you have sister cars pitting together. When the 77 stop was done well before the 33, it had to wait because its sister car was blocking the exit. There's been a driver change for the 99 Hyundai. That one is now Tyler Gonzalez aboard it. He's going to have to figure out what it feels like to drive around with no rear wing. Hart with a great pit stop. They were the last ones to leave this end of pit lane. We still have Go racing all the way down, but remember, there's several laps down from that left side damage. And the 99, it's still stationary. I don't know if you can hear that. There's no engine noise. I don't know if they are going to send this car back out, John.
We will update you as well on the Archangel Motorsport Aston Martin. The computer was plugged into that. Aaron Taylor has left. That car has now left the pit lane, and they believe it is at full power. The RS1 Porsche has got the right-hand side, the passenger side, for that configuration of car mirror folded in. VGRT are in with number 99, and that car has been, they've been told.
Andy! No. Empuja. Vito, empuja.
Yeah, they're being told they have to put the wing on that car, so they're going to push it behind the wall. So that Hyundai will have to have the rear wing on, and it's been ripped off completely. The two stays are still there. I don't know why they can't do that on pit lane. I wonder if they just haven't got one there, or whether it's a more involved job. Those stairs go down through the boot lid and onto the rear subframe of the car. There's some damage to the right rear of that car as well, quite a lot of damage. I think those mounts are broken. Well, actually they're not, they're mounted on the top of the boot lid. I'm quite surprised at that. So, trunk lid probably over here. So let's see, let's take stock as we're coming round to 52 minutes being done in this race. At the front of the field, the Aston Martin of Randy Behrman leads from Luca Mars and Core Motorsport in second. Robbie Foley, Turner Motorsport in third. So what happened there? What happened to the people who stayed out, Jeremy? Did they decide that wasn't a good idea and came in?
The number 44 car did. The other two, well, Brady Berman for some reason hasn't pitted in the number 82 car. He'll be handing over that car to Scott Blind. Actually, I wonder whether, where's number 64 car on the racetrack? Yeah, I wonder whether they stayed. They might want to stay out, because the number 64 car, you talked about that, Ted Giovannis making it into the pit lane just before the pits were closed. That's kind of good news, except he was then trapped a lap behind everybody else. I think the number 82 car, which is also running in the all bronze category, stayed out to keep that number 64 car a lap down. Yeah, good point, Jeremy. They go back to green, and you're spot on, because Hugh Plum immediately dives to the inside. He's blocked by the Aston Martin round the outside. The Core Motorsport Mustang trying to go across. Remember, the first of the TGM cars there is a lap back, and did not quite make that strategy work as they go through turns 1, 2 and 3. Hugh Plum right up the tailpipes of the core. Oh, the leader's got very, very wide indeed. Brady Berman almost off the circuit onto the dirty part of the track, throwing up dust now through the chicane, through turns 5 and 6. Down the Holman Boulevard, the middle part of the circuit. 1, 2, 3 across the track. Down the inside, here comes Core Motorsport, Luca Mars. He stayed out as well. He's got to make this work. He's got to clear off and try and keep those new Michelin tyre cars behind him. Still third in line and trying to get his lap back is Hugh Plum.
as the 64 car has its teammate not too far behind him. That's his brother Matt, the 46. But of course, he's almost a full lap behind that. And it looks like that's number 46, actually. He's fought its way to the head of the group, ahead of the two Turner Motorsports cars. Certainly didn't restart there. He was out behind them when they came out of the pits. The two Turner BMWs needing less fuel because they gambled and came in, gave up some track position early on in one of the earlier safety cars. Luke Mars then leads by 1.6 seconds, 55 minutes gone. Matt Plum in second now, ahead of Robbie Foley and Jeff Westphal for Turner and Carbon BMW. And still right in the mix there is Hugh Plum, who is desperately trying to get ahead of Luke Mars and get his lap back just in case the yellow comes out again. Well, that was all a bit tactical, Jeremy.
Yeah, pretty interesting, isn't it? Yeah, they're battling for the Bronze Cup win here. There's only two cars in that class here this weekend, number 82 car and number 64. But look, you know, do what you got to do, and that's exactly what they did.
Slight off there for Riley Dickinson in the Kelly Moss-Smith Riley Porsche. He's back on, just avoiding. I think he was ushered wide. One or two people have been. It is quite a wide circuit here, but there's some very quick corners, and it is clearly slippery offline here and still a wee bit dusty, which I find unusual given the amount of rain we had last night. I'm surprised there's any dirt left on the track at all. Luke Mars by a second and a half. Now fighting through from the back now, Winward Racing, Phil Ellis in the number 57, just put that car's fastest lap in the race. Lone Star Racing was another Mercedes AMG. That's Scott Andrews now. He's just done a 31.7 as well, 32.6 for Lee Jackson in that 67 Porsche.
Believe Jackson.
Now,
Lee. Yeah.
Yes, excuse me, Jackson Lee. Stop plus 60 seconds for the core Ford Mustang, more than emergency service. We speculated on that. We were right, no wonder. Luke Mars wanted to get away as quickly as possible and try and get away from that, the rest of the field. That is going to cost him massively at this stage of the game. He'll just about stay on the lead lap though.
That's a shame for that team. I'm sure they thought they were in time, but you spotted that on the official scoring. Then no, indeed they did not, frustrating for them.
Archangel Motorsports with a second problem for Aaron Thielitz. He pulled off at turn 5 rather, to keep out of the way. No, sorry, turn 7, where the cutout is. And that is still that electrical problem. They had the computer on it. They thought they'd reset it and got full power back on the Aston Martin V8, but it appears that there's still an issue. Now, Aaron Thielitz is a very experienced driver, excuse me, and he will not want to be driving around any circuit, and particularly not this circuit, with a problem. I expect to see him come into the pits as in for the stop and hold. This is going to be costly. The 59 car was leading the core Mustang in the pit lane. Let's see how much he loses. He's still not at the penalty box. Sequential indicators running to show he's on the pit lane speed limiter in that former GS leader. Stops now. So where is the field? He's going to lose a lap. You're right, Jeremy, you were right that Matt Plum, now leading the motor race, is already at turn 10. He's going to lose the motor race, and he's going to lose the lead lap by some margin. Now, has Matt Plum let his brother go? That's the question. And I don't think he has, you know. To see if he could get the lead back. The 64 car, no. That car on older tyres, of course, is now dropped behind the BMWs. But the other team car for Team TGM, leads the race with exactly 1 hour to go. We're at half distance. Indianapolis Motor Speedway 120, the IMSA Michelin Pilot Challenge. Jeremy Shaw.
Yeah, and a couple of fastest laps of the race. Matt Plum had it very briefly. It was taken away by Jeff Westphal in car number 39. And then on this last lap, it's Jesse Lazare, who's running down in 12th position in the MIA McLaren in car number 69. And he's just set the fastest lap of the race last time around, at 1 minute 31.047 for the McLaren. But meanwhile, out front, Matt Plum has got that lead. He's looking to extend his championship lead as well, of course, because he leads the championship coming into this weekend. He's out exactly where he wants to be at the moment, particularly with that problem for the number 28 car on that pit stop. Steve McAleer back in 9th position in car number 28.
10.5 seconds away from the lead. It is not irretrievable by any stretch of the imagination. With half of the race still to go, we've seen some oddities already here in the Michelin Pilot Challenge. By the way, Luca Mars is out of the pit lane and lost a lap. He came out just in front of Hugh Plum by about 4 seconds. So he's dropped into the battle, but he is a lap off the lead. That number 59 car, he's right in behind. I think he's about 4th in line behind the leader, Matt Plum, at the moment. So this is all shaken up. There are lapped cars and quick lap cars within the battle for the lead, or at least behind the 2 leaders at the moment. Matt Plum and Jeff Westphal going through to turn 3. The multicoloured red, white and blue Team TGM Aston Martin has the dark grey, black and highlighter green Carbon Motorsports BMW G82, Jeff Westphal. Robbie Foley then another 1.2 seconds further back. So the lead pair trying to dig in, but if they start fighting each other, that yellow and blue Turner Motorsport BMW will be right on them. They've got the Van der Steur Racing Aston there, the number 19 of Alexander Premat. He's just turned his fastest lap of the race, as has Robert McGuinness and Phil Ellis, and indeed Robbie Foley. So 3rd, 4th and 5th and 6th have all fired up their new Michelin tyres that they put on at the last stop, and I think that has been the problem. That has been the problem for Hugh Plum. He's just done his fastest lap of the race, but it's some 6/10 away from what the cars on the newer rubber are doing. He's still on. He put new rubber on, of course, when he got into that car. It's slightly older rubber than the guys around them. They changed earlier.
Yeah, Jeff Westphal certainly got
for a chance. Yes, he has. Go ahead, Jeremy. Sorry, my fault.
Yeah. Jeff Westphal very much got the bit between his teeth here. Looking to the inside there for the race lead in turn 1. Slides down the inside, leaves his braking as late as he possibly can. And that's a beautiful move there from Jeff Westphal. It's been a difficult season for the Carbon team. They switched to this BMW towards the end of last season and haven't had the results they really thought they were going to get this season. They've had the best of they've had a 4th, a 5th and a 6th, but that's the best they've had so far, despite having started on pole position for the opening round of the season at Daytona. But now Jeff Westphal in the lead of this race and looking to score a win in Indianapolis. Yeah, so another feather in his cap that would be.
And he's actually immediately put a few cars lengths into that Aston Martin. And it's not a lot, but it's just enough. And he's done that fairly efficiently. So Robbie Foley and Alexander Premat and Robert Guinness have not been able to gain on them. So it's Aston BMW, then a gap BMW, Aston BMW, then a gap Mercedes, Ford Mustang, Porsche, McLaren, Porsche, then a gap to BGB and Spencer Pumpelly. In TCR, Brian Hertner Autosport leads. It's the 98 car of Mason Filippi from Mikey Taylor. Remember, they had a drive-through right at the start for jumping the start. Now in 2nd place, just 2 seconds away from the lead. And the championship leaders I said that was a stroke of luck, that early yellow flag, and they've played it. They've ridden their luck absolutely there. Then the Alfa Romeo Giulietta of Tim Lewis is another 2.6 seconds further back, and he's got a wee bit of breathing room, but only a second and a half on Robert Wiggins and Bryson Morris. In for what should be the final stops, I should think, for Kelly Moss in the number 91. We've seen them do this before, the Porsche. In fact, it's two Porsche 718 GT4 RS. Fuel only for the 91 of Riley Dickinson, and Spencer Pumpelly is in it for BGB as well. Shea Adam, I'm not over-egging that. That is a lap. That must be the final stop for those two, correct?
I completely think it is, and I think that they have hit the nail on the head. Remember, the 91 Porsche won the first race of the season by doing exactly this, making the final stop first and then stretching the fuel. And it was Riley Dickinson who took them to the win on that Roval. Well, now they're trying to do it again on another super speedway, and BGB winners of the last race out, so clearly the Porsches know something that the rest of the field is missing out on. If I'm a team manager and calling strategy, I'm calling my car in now, because you can get to the end of the race, and if there's a little bit of yellow, you can tell your driver to go just that little bit faster. Also back from behind the wall was the number 99 VGRT Hyundai. That car lives once again, and it does have a new rear wing.
Still on pit lane, Aston Martins for Van der Steur Racing. Brady Berman, the number 82, and Archangel's Aaron Thielitz. Another cough and splutter out on the circuit. That's the number 88 Archangel car and the number 82 Van der Steur Racing Aston, both still on pit lane. At the front of the field, Carbon laid it by just 0.6 of a second. This Matt Plum has closed back up to Jeff Westphal. That battle, Jeremy Shaw, is far from over, and we've got an internecine scrap as well in TCR. Behind the leader, Mason Filippi, is his teammate, behind Tim Lewis is his teammate Robert Wiggins. They're battling for third and fourth.
Yeah, that's right, and they've been battling all the way. You expect them to battle all the way through to the finish of this race. The Alpha, though, is running pretty strongly. They're in third position, just ahead of Robert Wiggins and Bryson Morris. But yeah, once again, we've seen some good action during this race. There's a lot more to come. Those pit stops by those two Porsches there with 55 minutes to go. That's if there's a full course caution now, or in time of the next few minutes, then that will play into those drivers' favour very much. A couple other guys following suit, including number 46, John.
Big battle down at turn one. Alexander Premat in the multicoloured Van der Steur Racing Aston under extreme pressure from Robert McGuinness and Turner Motorsport. Winward Racing, Phil Ellis is just a little bit further back. Oh, that's a huge move down the inside at turn three. If that one is pulled off, that is absolutely brilliant stuff through turn three into turn four. But Alexander Premat manages to hold him back. It's the second of the Turner cars, which has gone through into the lead. Shea, calm down. I'm trying to commentate here, and all I can hear is you shouting in my ears. So, in and out for RS1 as well, Jeremy Shaw.
Yeah, so it's a good battling going on here. That move there by Robert McGuinness. I just wondering whether he didn't run wide on the exit of the chicane on that lap to get a better run before making that move down in turn 7. Surely stewards are going to be looking at that one. Hopefully he didn't gain an advantage by running wide there, but he's now up into a fourth position. So both of the Turner Motorsport cars, having made those early pit stops, up into the second and third positions right now. So it's BMW 1, 2, 3. With Jeff Westphal having edged out a good lead there. 1 minute 32.1 last time around for the race leader Jeff Westphal. That's about a second away from his best lap of the race, which is a 1:31.2.
Let's get down to Shea Adam, BDO pit lane report. There's been some action in the pit, Shea.
both of our championship contenders came in to do their final stops of the race today. The 4016 TGM took only fuel, but then it was a very long time before Matt Plum actually got the car in gear and moving again. He lost about 10 seconds on the pit lane. Also down in the pit lane was the RS1 Porsche for Steve McAleer, fuel only. He wasted no time getting going once again. So now both of them are good to go to the checkered flag. And you can imagine that I am right now on my way down to Turner to ask them if when they come in for their final stop, they might need to change the tires for their competitors, because otherwise it means Robbie Foley, Francis Seldorf, Dylan McIvern, and Rob McGinnis will have done the entire race on one set of tires. Well, per car each.
Yeah, that would be somewhat remarkable. We've seen it happen in 100-minute races for GTP cars on the Michelin rubber. In fact, that's how Porsche took their first victory for Porsche Penske Motorsport on the streets of Long Beach with no tyre change. But this is 2 hours. This is a different challenge for them. So Jeff Westphal, 14 laps into this stint, as are the top 5 actually, as they all go across the line. Under 50 minutes to run now, and with a bit of luck and some green flag racing, we have got a cracking battle on here, including having a whole bunch of TC. Sorry, Jeremy, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say what happened to number 28 car, but he was just in the pits, was he? Yeah, it must be. Okay.
Stephen McAleer, yes, correct. In and out.
Fine. Got it.
He's just completed his first flying laps from out of the pits.
Yeah.
And that was his second pit stop. He's dropped down to 13th, still on the end of the lead lap by a goodly margin actually, 20 seconds.
Yeah, he needs a yellow now to get himself back over to contention, I think, does that number 28 car. I mean, all of the other leaders are going to have to come in and make a stop, certainly, but he's stopped quite a long way back down the order. But out in front, meanwhile, is the number 39 car, Jeff Westphal, 3.2 seconds a gap. So he pulled another a couple of tenths of a second on that last lap over Robbie Foley in second place. And now his teammate Robert McGinnis in car number 95 onto pit lane.
We've got one of the Turner BMWs in the pit lane, and it is the number 95. This one is Rob McGinnis with the white hood on it for those fans watching out around the track who know the Turner colors super well. And guess what? They're giving him new tires, but not 4 new tires, left sides only, and not new tires, but gently used tires. So, there's a disaster. The air gun has come loose off of the tire gun for the left front. Very calm and collected, actually very impressive, as Will Turner is manhandling the hose. It's like a wild boa constrictor because there's so much pressure coming out of it. And yeah, Will Turner grabbing that himself, very impressive. They kept calm, they kept cool. They used the rear tire gun, the front left. So they lost a bit of time on that stop as far as we're concerned for the car needing to be in the box and the amount of fuel that needed to go in. But I'm impressed. Turner, with that reaction, that was well worth it and proves to us why they won the championship last year. Waiting on the sister car to come in, Robbie Foley will be getting also gently used new left side Michelin tires.
Shea Adam with the BDO pit lane report. We're still looking for our 2 Michelin moments of the race, one for each class, and we've still got about 46 minutes to do that. Nose to tail, or tail to nose actually, as the Montreal Motorsport Group car comes in. That car, remember, started from pole position in TCR. Dai Yoshihara captured the pole, but the car did not pull away. So loose turbo hose clip that had broken caused mayhem at the TCR start. And also following that car in, Jeff Westphal, who is in from the lead. Turner Motorsport second car. Robbie Foley, they've split their strategy. And Alexander Premat coming in as well. Shea Adam is watching the action in this BDO pit lane report.
Alex Prema is getting lightly scrubbed sticker Michelin tires. They still have the remnants of stickers on them, but not very much. Those will be on the left side of the number 19. Vanderstar Racing Aston Martin, and also doing left side tires is the number 39. That's the Carbon with Peregrine Racing BMW. Turner is done. Robbie Foley is sent back out onto the track. And now the next car to come in from this end of the pit lane would be Windward Racing, the winners of the 4-hour contest last year. It's Phil Ellis aboard the car this weekend with Bryce Ward, of course. Oh, and there's drama with VDS, with Vanderstar Racing. Their Aston Martin has not yet gotten rolling once again. They completed the service about 12-13 seconds before the car actually got moving once again. That could have championship implications. There goes RS1 down the front straight. RS1 is going to jump ahead of both of the Turner cars, I believe, from that pit stop.
45 minutes exactly remaining, and this is now starting to unwind. And if this was a 4x400 meters race, the stagger is starting to unwind now a little bit. Phil Ellis leads Jeremy Shaw. He doesn't lead Jeremy Shaw. Jeremy Shaw's in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre. But Phil Ellis is leading this motor race by 2.8 seconds. He came in 17 laps ago. Can he make it to the end?
I think he can't. No, he can't.
He can't.
No, he can't. But you know, he's got to be careful now. I mean, he's been running really good lap times. He was actually closing in on the cars ahead of him. That was Phil Ellis. He was running. He closed in on the number 19 and 50. So, excuse me, 95, 19 and 95 before they made their pit stop. So he's running good lap times now, but he wants to be careful. If there's a full course caution, that would be very much to the number 57 car's detriment.
Damage to the bodywork of the left rear on the Motorsport in Action, the Mia McLaren. There's been a bit of contact there, and just behind the rear wheel, it's where it wraps round to the under tray and the diffuser behind the back wheel, as I say. At the moment, it's sticking out like an additional wing on the left rear. Can't see that that's going to cause them any problem. However, race control will not want that falling off onto the track. Now, that car is not due into the pit lane, so not sure what they're going to do about that. However, we were talking about final pit stops, and here they come. Jesse Lazar goes through to take the lead in that Mia McLaren, as in comes Windward, Lone Star, and the company McAleer Racing.
Stickers for Phil Ellis. Watch out, rest of the world. There's quite a bit of damage to the right front of this car, actually, with a bit of carbon peeled back around the radiator. So quite an interesting contact had to happen for that to have transpired. Fuel is still attached. Left side tires are done. Car drops off the air jacks. And Phil wastes absolutely no time doing what he does best, which is driving a race car really, really quickly. It's also going to be new sticker left side Michelins for the number 13 MMR Mustang. So Jensen Altman will be a happy boy. Getting run out there and fight to the end, as he talked to us about in the countdown to green, but now he's got some fresh rubber with which to get it done.
Yeah, it's not worked out badly, has it, for the Motorsport in Action team at Jeremy Shaw? But that car has also got to make one more stop. Now, does the fact that they're staying out mean that they're going to continue to stay out and push their luck as far as they can? Coming up onto the back of Hugh Plum, who is, after all of those stops, I think he's back on the lead lap at the moment, but only by a couple of cars' lengths at the moment. Coming out of the pit lane, Windward, Riley and Turner Motorsport are battling down the infield straight, and Riley Dickinson for Kelly Buss, rather, with Riley. Oh, and he's got damage to his front splitter right in the middle. He's trailing the ground when he brakes. I wonder if that was when he went across the grass earlier on and shaking something loose there. That may be a problem later in the race, and he's coming under pressure by Robbie Foley. At the moment, they are battling for 8th, 9th and 10th position, and indeed Robbie Foley goes through on Riley Dickinson and takes that 9th position in GS. Still a whole bunch of TCR cars towards the front of the field. Mason Filippi, Mikey Taylor, Tim Lewis, Bryson Morris and Robert Wiggins in 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. For Brian Herter Autosports Hyundai, the Alpha of Unitronic JDC, KMW's Alpha, and the 2 other Hyundai Elantras from Brian Herter Autosport. They're still at the sharp end of the field. It looks like Riley Dickinson is struggling for pace now with that damage in the middle of the front of that car. He's had to defend going into turn 1 from the number 95 Turner BMW. Not sure he's going to be able to hold on to those positions. In fact, he just loses it there, Jeremy Shaw. And it just goes to show, doesn't it, a small problem like that loose front splitter is really hampering Riley Dickinson.
Yeah, it is, and that's you need that stability that splitter gives you to turn good lap times around here. The Porsches are fast around here as they are in pretty much every race we go to, but Riley's certainly struggling right now. But he's another guy I've had a lot of success here in Indianapolis in the past, and looking to keep it going again here. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead. Well, no, not for the lead necessarily in TCR, but Mason Filippi leads by only just over a second from Mikey Taylor. Yes, that's the problem. The car had a problem right at the beginning of the race, but then just a little bit farther back is that battle for 3rd and 4th, with Bryson Morris having now moved his way past Tim Lewis. So number 77 car ahead of the Alpha of Tim Lewis, and right behind them also is Robbie Wiggins in car number 33. That's the battle then for 3rd, 4th and 5th in TCR.
And still 40 minutes to go. And I have the strong feeling that we have not seen the last of the action here. It's been fast and furious. We've only had just over 30 cars here. We've got 56 cars tomorrow. Now, 3rd position, just changed in TCR. As the Alpha can no longer hold back. Tim Lewis gives him 3rd, he drops to 4th. Bryson Morris goes to 3rd position. It's Hyundai, Audi, Hyundai, Alpha, Hyundai in the top 5 now, still holding down positions 3rd to 7th overall. Of course, Michael Cooper, Matt Plum and the rest are charging back towards them. Now they're taking, actually, in fairness, Michael Cooper only took about a half a second, a little bit more than a half a second back, 0.8 of a second back from them last time around. Those TCRs are pretty rapid around here, particularly, Jeremy, when they've got a bit of clear track ahead of them, because they really thrive on the early part of the lap, turns 1 to 6, and then 7 to 14, where they lose out is from 6 to 7, because they just don't have the top speed, and from 14 back down to 1. But the rest of it, their splits actually are pretty good.
They are, and I mean, lap times for the leader, Mason Filippi, last time around, in car number 98, at 1:34.6. His best lap of the race was actually, that car has set the fastest lap of the race in TCR, was a 1:32.8, so about a second and a half down. Compare that to the GS cars. Jesse Lazar running out front. He has set the fastest lap of the race overall, a 1:31.047. It's about a second, by the way, off the lap record that he set last year. But the race leader, overall leader's last lap was a 32.9. So almost 2 seconds slower than his best lap of the race.
So now it is a game of cat and mouse. Sport in action, McLaren out in the front of the field, but still needs to come down to pit lane. Jackson Lee, see above comment. They are just pulling away from the TCRs, as you would imagine. But the rest of the GS field, Jeremy, are not catching them as quickly as I thought they would. there's only 40 seconds between Michael Cooper and the leader of the race at the moment, so you can't do a pit stop in that amount of time. But last time around, that was a bit better from the chasing pack from third on down, 33.5 against a 32.9. It was 32.8 and 34s the lap before that, which I thought was a bit odd. Yeah, Michael Cooper, he is going to need another pit stop. So the first two certainly out front, 69, 67, they're going to have to make a pit stop. Jackson Lee has been closing a little bit on Jesse Lazarus. He now brings that number 67 car onto the pit lane, out of second position overall. And then third in GS, behind those 5 TCR cars, is Michael Cooper. But for Baby Bull Racing, he will definitely need another pit stop. And then next on the road is Matt Plum, the championship leader, who has Jeff Westphal once again on his boot lid in that car barn BMW car number 39. So the battle between 46 and 39 is the one to watch.
It's fuel and sticker tires for Jackson Lee, who's staying aboard the Cybox Simpson Motorsport Porsche, and looks like a very clean stop so far. Only the left side tires, a little bit slow on the left front, but they were still refueling, so no time lost. Trying to make sure that the fuel hose is fully capable of coming out, actually. That was interesting. The refueler trying to maneuver the thing to come free. It did, and now Jackson is back out and rolling. I've been standing down by the Mia McLaren box for quite some time now. They've been up on the wall for at least 10 minutes. Their poor mechanics must be roasting slowly in the sunshine, because it is warm down here and they are in dark blue. But an interesting facet that they have is an air hose. They're going to try and clean out the radiator, so clearly they're going to try and make sure that this McLaren does not overheat in the final gasping moments of the race.
Out of the pit lane for that Porsche then. It's a long run down. You don't come out onto the track to take the first corner. You fire yourself in between turns 1 and 2. Jackson Lee then back in the fight, having dropped down to the bottom end of the top 10. Get out in front of Stephen McAleer. I don't think he did. McAleer just going through turn 10 at the moment. So, Jeremy, the news that we have, I think we kind of knew this. We have the Racer's Edge car that barely made the start. That is an official retirement. Gavin Ernstone made a mistake and ran in to one of the other cars down at the first corner. It was Preston Brown, wasn't it? Reinhardt Motorsport, Elantra, and Frank Depew also misjudged his braking down at the first corner. Those are the 4 cars: Rebel Rocks, Aston, Reinhardt is number 76 under the Road Jagger, RS3 Audi and Honda Civic Racers Edge. Those 4 out of the running. Archangel Motorsports, Aaron Thielen, so off the lead by some 14 laps after repeated electronic gremlins, but they'll want to try and get that car running just to see if they can make it work. Right, Jeremy, cast your practiced eye over the strategy here. Who is in the VIP seat at the moment, and who's at the back of the stalls in terms of where we are with? Let's start with GS.
Jeff Westphal in car number 39. He's just overtaken Matt Plum last time around and already pulled away, and he's also now got past the Baby Bull Porsche as well of Michael Cooper, that still I think needs another pit stop. So he's running Michael Cooper now. He's just got past the Alpha as well. Who was that just stuck down into the pit lane? Was that?
That was the Alpha.
It was the Alpha, was it? It was the Alpha.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Tim Lewis in the pit lane for his third stop.
Yeah, because the TCR cars have only been in during that caution period, haven't they? So yes, they will need a pit stop as well. That's right. So he's the first of the leaders, if you like, in TCR to blink and come in for his final stop with just over half an hour remaining. But number 39 car is looking really good here, and Jeff Westphal has already pulled out quite a few car lengths over the number 46 Team TGM Aston Martin, which of course at this stage in the game he's just looking to pick up championship points.
I'm a bit confused. I wasn't expecting to see another TCR pit stop, but here we have the Alfa Romeo, the number 5. That was the race winner at Road America. Came in, fuel and front tires only, and with 31 minutes to go, I thought he should have been okay on this one, but maybe they're trying to help Tim Lewis with every possible aspect to win the race.
Yeah, I don't think so, Shay. They all came in, all the TCRs, during the caution period, and that was with well over an hour to go, so I don't think they can get to the end from here. I'd be surprised if we didn't see the number 98 car and the 3 leaders now in TCR, number 98, 17 and 77. Bryson Morris, by the way, has been charging hard lately. He got past... Here comes Mikey Taylor now into the pits in 2nd position out of TCR car number 17.
It was 5 minutes before the hour when the Alpha stopped, Jeremy, so they would have had to have been going for about an hour and 10 minutes, and as you say, that is just I think a little bit a bridge too far. Scott Lind in the Van der Steur Racing Aston Martin back out on the track, but has been given a mechanical black flag as the I really like this new livery, this full red, white and blue Unitronic 20 years liquid moly ECS tuning livery. It transforms the look of that car. It doesn't help that I keep wanting to look for its normal colours, of course. Shea Adam is looking at what looks to be a decent stop, but not brilliant. They seem to lose a bit of time.
Yeah, fuel and front tires for that Audi. The service is done for the Unitronic JDC Miller Motorsport crew, and Mikey Taylor with some fresh rubber to go out there and battle to the finish. As into the pit lane finally is Jesse Lazaire and the Mia McLaren coming in, hitting his marks right in front of me. Beautiful stop by the crew. They are blowing out the front of this McLaren. Not a lot of dust or debris, but it does smell a little bit off. Is also into the pit lane is the number 64 Team TGM Aston Martin, not the one that is set to inherit the lead. There we go. The fueling is done. No tires for that car, just fuel for Mia McLaren.
Well, that was interesting. That was a very quick fuel only stop then for the 69 Mia McLaren. I wonder how much that piece of trim that was unceremoniously pulled off of the left, and how much that's cost. Anybody from who owns lucky enough to own a McLaren or knows what the spares costs are? I probably don't want to know that. It would make me sad. They are fueled to the end.
Yeah, and with that car coming into the pits, John, that puts the Mason Philippi into the lead of the race overall in the TCR car number 98. The bad news for him is he's got Jeff Westmore closing quickly in the GS leading car number 39 that has already made his final stop. So whether it'd be kind of cool for Philippi to lead one more lap, lead a lap of the race overall before he makes his final stop. But I'm not sure he's going to get the opportunity to do that or not. We'll have to wait and see over the course of the next, half a minute, basically.
Yeah, I'm just looking at where he is on the circuits. This is the number 98 car that Jeremy is talking about, the Brian Hurt to Autosport Hyundai Elantra. And I don't think he's going to get round to the line without being passed. In fact, he's already been passed by Jeff Westphal. Jeff has gone through. They're both coming round turn 14 now onto the start-finish straight, and it is the grey and bright green car that will cross the line. So Mason Philippi doesn't quite lead a lap. It'll be scored in second position, Jeremy.
Yeah, but the other guy who's charging is Phil Ellis, and he's just, what's that number 46 car pulling alongside him on the front straightaway, but I think he's just made that
That's
pass.
That's the battle for position.
Yeah, it is. Ellis has just got that position from Matt Plum last time around, so up into second position now, or third overall, because Philippi is still ahead of him. But the number, let's have a look at the coming off the final couple of corners.
There was a little bit of bump and run there. Very too close. Very too close? Very close indeed, but a good run from the number 46 Aston Martin. As they head onto the infield. Remember, that Phil Ellis, just 16 laps ago, got a new set of sticker Michelin tyres when he did his last pit stop. So he has a 10-lap advantage 10 laps ago when he got that. He has a 6. No, actually, Matt didn't change his tyres, did he? So that's 12 and 16. That's 28. Yeah, he has got an 18-lap advantage in terms of his tyres. Meantime, just on the outskirts of the top 10, Riley Dickinson is defending against Scott Andrews, the gold and black number 91. That's the Porsche against the black and blue number 79, which is Scott Andrews and the Lone Star Racing AMG GT. They're going down into turn 1. Two very differently proportioned cars. Scott's coming from a long way back, too far back, surely can't make that one work. Fair play by Riley. He did leave the inside just in case Scott did throw it down there, and that's put Riley on the dirty side of the track, and Scott is able to hold the inside line through turn 4 and take that position. Seen that happen a couple of times. Riley's still struggling with that slightly loose front splitter as well. I think that's hampering his top speed. The Porsche's not the quickest in a straight line, but then again, it's the AMG normally, but that splitter is pretty much trailing the ground when Riley brakes. At high speed, it's deforming as well, and not in a good mini DRS way. So the Mia McLaren in and out. And where did that rejoin? Jesse Lazar in the 69 car in the McLaren Artura rejoined in 11th position. Did a 31.9 last time around, which was the fastest of any of the 10 cars, faster than all of the 10 cars ahead. He's going to have time to make up, but no new Michelins. Remember, that was a fuel stop only, and just to tear that piece of the rear of the McLaren off. It's going to be a long run back from there. Westphal 4 seconds to the good, and Phil Ellis matching him 10th for 10th, Jeremy, but not pulling him in at the moment with 24 minutes still to go.
Yeah, so still plenty of time here, and the leaders are all as they should be. They've all made their final stops now, except for Michael Cooper, I think, in the 5th place overall car. He's still behind Mason Philippi in the TCR, leading car number 98, who I don't think can get to the end from here. But he might be trying to stretch it, and if there is full course caution, then certainly that would give him the opportunity to do so. The other Brian Herder car, number 33, Robbie Wickes, I think, following the same strategy as well, trying to save as much fuel as he can, running in the 10th position overall and 2nd in TCR.
Michael Cooper came in, or left the pit lane rather, 3 minutes before the hour. So that would make it a 1 hour and roughly 8-minute run for him. We've seen Robert Liddell pull off all kinds of magic in the past. Is that what Michael Cooper is hoping for? If he stops now, he's going to give up a top 10 position at least and drop way down. And they may feel it's worth the gamble, Jeremy, and if something happens like a full course yellow, they run it as lean as possible, keep the revs down, and possibly pick up a top 5, top 6 position. He's got Robbie Foley behind him, but they're lapping in roughly. Robbie was about half a second quicker last time around, but Robbie only came out of the pits 15 laps ago, so he's got no fuel worries.
Yeah, number 72 car there coming past the across the yard of bricks right now. That's Larry Pegram, former two-wheel ace. Legend, actually, on 2 wheels is Larry. He and his daughter Riley Sherrin at number 72 Pegram Racing Audi RS3 LMS. It's a sequential gearbox car. Currently running in the 3rd position. Larry's just done that car's best lap of the race. On that last lap around, he's about 12 seconds ahead of Mikey Taylor in the number 17 car, and I don't think he can stretch it to the end from here, but he might be another one who's trying to do so. So Larry Pegram running in 3rd position in car number 72, the Ohio native.
20 minutes left now, and 2 cars behind the wall. The TGM 64 as around goes the Hyundai of VGRT, the Gonzalez Racing Team. Even though it had a rear wing, it didn't stop the back end from coming around, and a bit of a smoky restart until the exit of turn 2. And that doesn't look good. I saw some oil smoke coming from underneath the engine bay there. Now, is that something more sinister? I wonder if he spun on his own oil, actually. That could be a real issue for that car. And with 20 minutes to go, well, the car's running again and moving again, more importantly, but has it left anything on the circuit? There was a big white plume of smoke as it restarted from the exhaust pipe. I thought I saw something underneath as well. The car's battered and bruised and is heading back into the pit lane. So that was turn 11 that it had its spin. Made it back to pit road. Larry Pegram then through the chicane in that grey-black number 72 Audi, sitting in 3rd, 10 seconds ahead of Mikey Taylor, who is gaining on him at a relatively good rate. But time is running out. It's one of the Evo cars. And don't forget, dear colleagues, in a Michelin moment of the race, one for each class, something that has defied GM. It's been an interesting race. It's been a lot of good racing and some good overtakes. Outside, inside overtake early on. I have to remember which one it was now. So, that was the 46, wasn't it? Plum car early on. Car now in 3rd position. McGuinness and Turner Motorsport, 340 as well. Those 95 and 96 car have their strategy and sort of worked for them, I think, pulled them up the field. Shea, Adam, what's your thoughts about our Michelin moment of the race? And I accept that there's just under 18 minutes to go.
Well, I can't do GS yet because I feel like it hasn't happened yet. But for TCR, I'm going to go with the start, and specifically Brian Hurd Autosport with the 98, because Mark Wilkins and Harry Gottsack are both not getting their good qualifying laps in because of the issue for the sister car. They started dead last or close to it, and by the first restart, well, they were up in the top 5. So that was really impressive. And then by the second restart, they were up in the top 3. I'm going to give that to them.
Okay, thank you, Shea. Give Jeremy some thinking time. Mason Filippi still holding on at the front of the TCR field, sitting inside the top 10. Has not been a perfect outing for the Hart FL5. Chad Gilsinger, the gunslinger, in 7th position in the 89. BGB, Spencer Pumpelly with a puncture, flat tyre I'm hearing on that car as it comes into pit lane. Happened late in the lap. Other cars that have gone behind the wall, Archangel Motorsport, that was the car with the electrical problems earlier on, and the Hyundai Elantra that we saw in the wars. The number 99 from Victor Gonzalez Racing replaced the rear wing, many laps down, of course, both of those cars. And the team finally, both of those teams, along with 88 Archangel Motorsport, officially retired behind the wall, and the Hyundai Elantra from Tyler Gonzalez and the rest of VGRT, added to Van der Steur and Team TGM, the 82 and 64 Astons, also behind the wall. Earlier, accidents for Frank Depew for Rebel Rock Racing, and for Gavin Ernston. Preston Brown caught up in Gavin's incident. So Rebel Rock's Aston, the Hyundai and Brian Hurton, the Roadshagger Audi. And Racers Edge Motorsport, Daniel Wu, that car barely getting it across the line, got to turn 2, and that caused our first intervention. For Performance Global Broadcast Centre, Jeremy Shaw, John Hindhaugh, BDO Pit Reporter, Shea Adam 103.9 around the circuit, RS2 around the world. Hello to Fair Use, parked on IMSA Radio. All channels loud and clear. Thanks for listening in. Not sure where you are, Fair Use, but thank you very much indeed. For those of you watching on the YouTube or the international feed, thank you for joining us this Saturday. I've been days ahead all week this week, but I've now fired myself 2 days further into next week. Been a long day. Shea Adam, our BDO pit lane reporter. It's normally about this time of the race that I ask Shea to have a wander up and down and have a look at the faces. Now, earlier on, she said that some people weren't making eye contact with her. What's it like now, Shea, as we head into getting on towards the closing stages of the race?
Really, really, really not making eye contact with me at this stage, particularly down in the Brian Hurt Autosport world. We've got both a 98 out front for that Hyundai. It is Mason Filippi aboard, and Mark Wilkins looks like he's about to be sick. He's so nervous. And if we walk just to the other side of the Cadillac Racing pit box, we find the number 33. That is Rob Wickens, who is aboard that car. And Harry Gottsacker looks completely, well, you can't read him. He's got a perfect poker face, but he's avoiding the eye contact too. So I love this stage. I'm really hoping that everybody can make it, because at this point that would just be cruel. But yeah, there's a lot of nerves floating around down here. You can feel it in the air. It's tangible.
At IMSA Radio, if you want to get in touch with me in the Global Broadcast Centre for Performance. Off for the number 19. This is the Aston Martin, the multicoloured car, and this has championship implications. It's at the turn 12, and he's come all the way back on and rejoined. Now, what happened? Oh, that was just understeering off. Oh, my goodness me. And that was a bit bizarre. Jeremy, as if the car for Alexander Prema, it's not as if Alex... in that Van der Steur racing machine, it's not as if he's a rookie. He's got a problem on the left front of that car. He's got a broken hub or a broken suspension. That's why the car wouldn't turn. Maybe a broken steering arm. There's a little bit of damage as well on the left front of the splitter. Now, was that cause or effect? That would have been the tyre that wheel he was leaning on, Jeremy. So if that wasn't turning, that would be the case. This is a disaster for this team.
Yeah, it is. They came into the weekend third in the points, 250 points off the lead, but still this is going to be costly. And clearly there was a failure there. We saw from the onboard from the car behind him that the car, all of a sudden that car just kind of took off to the left, exit stage left on a right-hander. So clearly there was something wrong there, and that car now into the pits. So that's a great shame for them. Another quick note, by the way, by that car is receiving attention. Number 79 car, Scott Andrews, he's flying. He's just overtaken the number 44 Baby Bull Porsche to move up into 6th position overall, and he's got the two-turner BMWs not too far ahead of him as well. So that's certainly something to keep an eye on. How much progress can Scott Andrews make in the closing stages up to 6th position overall at the moment in that Lone Star, kind of a 79.
I think that's day done for Van der Steur Racing. Not had the word from the team that they've officially retired, although we have heard that from Victor Gonzalez. I think we've guessed that is 8 official retirements. Now that is as big a big retirement number as we've seen for quite some time. Some attrition rate here today, and yeah, all right, there's 2 or 3 of those that have been contact. We've had a couple of electrical problems for Aston's, funny enough, and both the Archangel Motorsport car, and we don't know what happened with the Team TGM car or the Scotland Van der Steur Racing car, but that's 3 Aston Martins there that have gone, and now the Go Racing Audi has just fallen off the track. The 55 car is in 9th place, and he was, do you know what? He's trying to stay out the way of the Mia McLaren coming through there, and got onto the dirt and lost the back end of that car. Last 10 minutes, Jeremy. What do you reckon for your Michelin moment of the race for GS?
Well, I tell you what, for GS, that might be coming from Scott Andrews. I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
because he's flying. He's right up on the tail now of Robbie Foley, no less, who was he was running with his teammate, but he's fallen back over the last few laps. So Robert McGillis, number 95 car, pulled away a little bit from those 2. Jeff Westphal, I'm assuming a tremendous performance by that team. So, moment of the race. Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, there's various moments that have not gone in people's favour. Certainly, that's number 28 car in particular that had a miscue. But yeah, Scott Andrews certainly would be on my list for GS. In TCR, Shea talked about the Hyundais coming from the back. Well, what about number 99 car of Morgan Burkhardt? I mean, he went from the back along with those other Brian Herler cars to lead in the class pretty quickly, and was running out front. He was taken out through no fault of his own. It was a brilliant first stint once again for Morgan Burkhardt. He's a kind of an unsung hero from TCR this season. There goes, by the way, Scott Andrews making his way past Robbie Foley now, surprisingly, to move up into 5th position overall. A great run for Lone Star Racing, and it's Mercedes making a debut this season.
It's not done. It's not done down to turn 1. The 2 blue and yellow cars. Foley pulled out, almost got down the inside. Almost looks like they're team cars, actually. They're blue and yellow, but one the AMG and one the BMW. And Scott Andrews continues. He's 15 seconds away from the leader, but not lapping that much quicker. In fact, lapping no quicker that time around, albeit with a overtake for position being done. I like the Morgan Burkhardt, like that a lot in that number 99 VG RT car. They've not had any luck since then. So I've just heard Shea say, so I think that is easing towards the number 99 car for our Michelin moment of the race in TCR for Morgan Burkhardt and his masterful first stint. It would have been a series of moments, but he had to avoid what was going on down at the first corner and came all the way from the back of the class to lead convincingly. GS, that's a tough one. We'll see who comes through.
And look, the overall leader now, Jeff Wesley, he's just putting a lap on the number 17 car, who has just moved up to 3rd position in the class. That's Larry Pegram behind him. So Mikey Taylor now up to 3rd position in the class at the expense of Larry Pegram. And Mikey Taylor's now, he's 36 seconds behind Robbie Wiggins. And he's going a couple of seconds a lap faster. Robbie Wiggins is desperately trying to save fuel, I think, as is Mason Philippi ahead of him. So there's still that strategy playing out with under 7 minutes to go. And here's a replay now of Mikey Taylor taking that 3rd position from Larry Pegram, and the race leader, overall leader, going through as well.
front of the field. Jeff Westphal's pace is relentless. It's another mid 132 last time around, 32.6, 32.5 for Phil Ellis. About a lap ago, 2 laps ago actually, Phil Ellis took a full second out of Jeff Westphal and brought the lead down from 4.5 seconds to 3.5. But he hasn't been able to trim it any further. And the Carbon BMW then it would appear to be pacing itself. The next car back is a lap car, and then it's the second place car of Winward Racing, the AMG GT4s. Pegram Racing comes into the pits. Maybe it was just 5 minutes too long, Jeremy, for that car, and they need a splash. Valiant effort for them, though. They played the cards, and they might have nicked a podium if that had gone right.
Yeah, that's right. It was certainly worth a try there. I mean, you're only going to lose probably only one position, actually, or maybe a couple of positions. But yeah, it's been a super run for the Pegram family, and hats off to them for that. It's just their second start in the championship, so great to have them here, and certainly Riley did a nice job in her first stint earlier on, and he's looking good for top 6 at the moment. I think they're going to stay ahead perhaps of the Hart Honda, that had the problems early on but has kept going again, currently running in the 6th position. Meanwhile up front, Phil Ellis is certainly going a bit quicker. He reduced the deficit to the overall leader, Jeff Westphal, who I think is just cruising right now with inside 5 minutes remaining. But Robert McGuinness is charging hard in that number 95 Turner Motorsport BMW, and he's putting Matt Plum under a lot of pressure for 3rd position overall.
Got to say thank you to our hard-working technical team, particularly our wonderful camera operators. And on camera 3 this weekend is Sarah Reid. It's her birthday today. Hello, Sarah, and thank you very much for all your hard work. Really appreciate, not just during the races that go there, but in the other sessions as well, where we can see the far side of the track because of the hard work of our camera operators, long days as well. So a happy birthday to Sarah on camera 3 this weekend. As we come down into under the last 5 minutes now. Now, there's some consternation down in the Brian Herter Autosport number 33 pit. Robert Wiggins is in the car at the moment, and off for the 44, this is Michael Cooper for Baby Bull Racing. I think he's run out of fuel. He's pulled the car off the circuit. It doesn't look damaged. Well, that car, if that is out of gas, that is the 2nd consecutive race that car has come to the end of the race early. Oh dear. Well, again, they rolled the dice, Jeremy. What else were they going to do?
Yeah, I mean, they were going to fall to the back of the pack in any case, that's for sure. Making another pit stop at this stage in the race, but 2 minutes.
They've done an hour and 5 minutes. An hour and 5 minutes now.
Yeah, which you're never going to get to the end from there. I'm not quite sure what the point is in staying out there at this stage. I mean, come in and take your medicine and at least get a finish under your belt, but whatever. They've not done that. But meanwhile, the Hyundai, they're of kind of a 98 Mason Phillip. He is trying to stretch it to the end quite clearly now, and is doing a good job. He's about 8.5 seconds ahead of his teammate Robbie Wickens, who's trying to pull the same trick in 2nd position, number 33.
And because they've done that, they are half a minute ahead of Mikey Taylor for the Unitronic JDC Miller car. It's the Liqui Moly car in 3rd position. Now, Mason Filippi being told on the radio to back right off because they are on fumes as he comes round. And he's got a 9-second lead as he goes across the line in 12th position overall. it's not going to be 9 seconds this time around. I'm not sure that Robert Wiggins, that's down to 8 seconds, but it's where the leader is that's important, and the leader is crossing the line. Now, they're going to have another lap to do at the end of this, unless they let the leader go by them. So, white flag for Jeff Westphal. Good team effort by Carbon Motorsports. Phil Ellis in second, and the Hard 89 Honda is out of fuel. My goodness, are we going to see a big turnaround on positions? All of these cars have been out roughly the same time. It could happen to anyone at this stage, and TCR could yet be turned upside down. Mikey Taylor's got fuel, but 25 seconds is too far back. They stop for fuel and new tyres. A good 16 laps or so after everybody else, but I don't think he's going to be able to make that up unless there's a cough and a splutter. Winward in second, McGuinness and the 95 Turner squad in third. Matt Plum for Team TGM in fourth, Lone Star in fifth. The second of the Turner Motorsport in sixth, Motorsport in Action, the McLaren, fastest lap of the race. 7th position for them, doesn't feel like they really got their just desserts. Oh, this is going to be really, really squeaky as the TCR leader gets the white flag, and Robert Wiggins has gone through 6 seconds behind. It's the checkered flag now. That is out, however, for Carbon Motorsport, and through goes Jeff Westphal. He's going to win it by something around 3.5 seconds. Shea Adam is with the winning team for this BDO Pit Report.
Well, Sean, your first pole was the beginning of the season at Daytona. Now your first win is at Indy. What is it about these super speedways that work for you and the Carbon team?
I have no idea. Honestly, it's been a long time coming, though. I mean, we've been working so hard. The team's been doing such a great job, and we just haven't had the luck this year, but finally it pulled through, so I'm really happy.
How nervous were you at the end of that one?
Not nervous at all, honestly. He had a good gap, we had a good pace, and we had the fuel, so yeah, we made sure it worked.
Congrats, GS race winner.
Thank you, thank you.
So now the fingernails are being bitten on the Brian Herter Autosport pit stand, but I think they're going to both manage it just about. Yellow flags out in front of the number 98. This will probably be for one of the stranded cars that's run out of fuel, as Mason Felipe has yet to cross the line. Mikey Taylor couldn't catch them because he was on the other side of the overall race leader. So it'll be a 1-2 for Brian Herter Autosport, and they go wild as they creep across the line. That last lap, a 1:40 and a 1:38 for Robert Wiggins. 1-2 for Brian Herter Autosport for the 98 to 33. Mikey Taylor couldn't quite come back from that early problem. They played the percentages as well, and that means their championship lead is, if not intact, at least they've held on to it. That's a good fight back from an early problem for them. Jeremy Shaw doing the arithmetic at the moment. Just looking further down, heading down to Team TGM in fourth for Matt Plum. Scott Andrews could not get through in the end for Lone Star. Turner Motorsport in third and sixth position. Motorsport in Action with the fastest lap of the race. Let's go down to Shea Adam, a BDO pit report with the TCR winners.
And I think now he can actually start to breathe again. Mark Wilkins, I saw your pulse racing. It was visible from the pit lane. You got it done, though. Winner at Indy. What's this feel like?
You know, it's been a bit of a tough year for us, I must say, and some highs and lows. I mean, Mason just drove a great race. That was tough. Kudos to our guys. A great car, but, you know, just so much work. So just feels great. Finally get it done. We've been chasing it all year, so we'll really enjoy this one.
And it's a good one for the championship as well. So let's see where we roll out at Road Atlanta.
Oh, I love Road Atlanta, so this is good. We're super happy.
Congrats, my friend.
Thank you.
Let's give you the unofficial results then from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at 1:20 for the Michelin Pilot Challenge. Carbon win it with the combination of McAllister starting and Westfall finishing. What a strong combination. There were Bryce Ward and Phil Ellis coming through in second position. That was good running from them as well, actually. They played it absolutely perfectly with Turner Motorsport in third, Team TGM, Lone Star, Turner Motorsport in action, Kelly Moss, RS1 and Michelin in the top 10. The TCR class, well, that kept us guessing all the way through. Brian Hurt, first and second, 98 from 33. Unitronic JDC, Audi in third. Another Hyundai for Bryson Morris and the rest of the 77 team. Tim Lewis in fifth. Larry Pegram comes home in sixth. They rolled the dice as well. A lot of problems and a lot of attrition. 8 official retirements and then 2 cars running out of fuel right at the end. Baby Bull Racing, Porsche and Chad Gilsinger's Hart Honda FL5. Before that, we'd already lost the Aston Martin of Alexander Premat and the Vanister. In fact, both Vanister Aston Martins we lost. The Team TGM Aston number 64, Archangel's Aston number 88. Victor Gonzalez Racing, accident damage started there, bad day. Rebel Rock Racing, Frank Depew, architect of his own destruction, I'm afraid, as was Gavin Ernstone when he went out early as well. And that was a misjudgment for both of those drivers in separate incidents down at turn 1. Preston Brown was caught up in one of those. And the most bizarre one, right at the start of the race, Daniel Wu, Racers Edge Motorsport, didn't actually complete a racing lap, got across the line and then ground to a halt at turn number 2. Jeremy Shaw's done the arithmetic, and here's how the points stand, and we'll start with GS.
Yeah, we'll start with GS then. So Matt Plum there with the 4th place finish. He got overtaken by Robert McGuinness on the last lap for Turner Motorsport, moving into the top 3. As we see that wild celebration there from TCR. Brilliant drive there by Mason Philippi to come away with a tremendous win for that number 98 car. That's the for Mason, it's his 7th win. For Mark Wilkins, his 12th overall. But in points then, with the 4th place finish, 24.50 now Matt Plum will have, and he'll now have a 110-point advantage. It was 60, it's now 110 over Stephen Mackley and Trent Hinman, who with that problem in the pits fall back to 9th position overall in this race. In the Manufacturer Championship, that's kind of interesting. There was only 30 points between Aston Martin and Porsche. The best of the Aston Martins, however, was 3rd in this race, and the best of the Porsches for manufacturer points was only 5th. So Aston Martin will actually extend its lead now over Porsche from 30 points to 70, with just one race remaining.
You want to know how close they were on the number 98 TCR? Well, they weren't that close because Mason Filippi brought the car into victory lane and it's still idling. So, yeah, they're not going to run out of fuel anytime soon. Mason clearly feeling good about this win.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Shea. Do you want to do TCR or do you want to do GS manufacturers?
Yeah, did GS manufacturers. So on to TCR then. Chris Miller and Mikey Taylor came here with a 170-point advantage. They'll lose 20 points because they finished 3rd to the 2nd position of Harry Gottsacker and Robbie Wickens. So that closes up a little bit, but still then a 150-point lead going into the final race of the season for Chris Miller and Mikey Taylor, who've led it from the start of the year.
Brilliant stuff, Jeremy. What are you going to take away from that as we head into the final round of the season?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was an interesting race. It was a messy start, but nice and clean for the final, well, over an hour to the end of the race, and a tremendous performance there by Carbine Motorsports to come away with that team's first win of the year. Very, very well deserved there. It was a tremendous run. It was the first win for Sean McAllister finally then, after a couple of 4th place finishes being his best, and he will celebrate with a kiss of the bricks here at Indianapolis. Great run for them. Brilliant judgment there for Mason Philippi to bring that car home to win TCR and car number 98 for Brian Herd at Autosport. We've got to the strategic decision of the race has to go to Brown O'Hare Autosport, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, I think so. With all of their cars, Morgan Burkhart wins the Michelin moment of the race in the number 99 for his first stint from the back to lead the class. We've been waiting, we've been procrastinating in GS. I thought Winward did a pretty good job, and particularly Bryce Ward early on avoided all the nightmares. Phil Ellis came through. Lone Star Racing with Scott Andrews, that was Jeremy's call on there. So we need a tie break from Shay, if she's still listening to us down in pit lane, or from the responsible adults, and I shall and she says Scott Andrews, Lone Star Racing. So Michelin moment of the race goes to Scott Andrews for the GS category in the AMG for his fine closing stint for that particular car. Thank you very much indeed to all of our technical staff at the track, at Concord and at London, our brilliant operators of the cameras, and indeed for the drivers and teams for giving us all of the information. Don't go too far away. Stay locked in to 103.9 FM at the track and RS2. We haven't finished the day as yet. My final thanks has to go to Aaron, our producer, and the voice of reason in my ear from Concord, North Carolina. For Jeremy Shaw and John Hindhoff in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre, and our BDO pit reporter Shay Adam, thanks for being with us, and bye for now.